Settle in, everyone. This is the story of the Syndicate Blood in the Shadows. Let me take you to a city that wears crime like a second skin, Verona Heights. Not the romantic Verona of Shakespeare, no. This one is all steel, smoke, and sin. By day, it's business suits and neon signs. But by night, it belongs to the shadows. And the king of those shadows? A man named Dominic Vega. They called him Dom the Ghost. Not because he was quiet, no. Dominic had a presence like thunder. But like a ghost, no one could touch him. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no loose ends. Just whispers. Dominic wasn't born into power. He built it. From the slums of South Verona, stealing to survive, dealing before he turned 18. But he was sharp, too sharp for small time. By 25, he had taken over the Falcone family's operations without firing a bullet. He didn't need violence. He had something more dangerous, loyalty. It started with a job. Always does. A warehouse. Downtown. 2 a.m. That's where Dominic first crossed paths with Elias 9 Lives Cruz, a Cuban safecracker with nerves of ice and a past thick with secrets. The job was clean. Get in, get out, take the diamonds, leave no trace. They didn't count on the security guard having insomnia or a shotgun. One wrong move, and Elias was bleeding from the shoulder, Dominic dragging him out by sheer will. That was the beginning. From that night on, Dominic and Elias became more than partners. They were brothers in blood. And the city started to know them. Dominic wasn't just building a crew. He was building an empire. He brought in Freya Kane, a hacker from Detroit with a rap sheet longer than her legs. She could make a police record disappear with 2 keystrokes. Then came Milo No-Talk Vesperi, a mute former hitman who spoke with bullets. And finally, Ava Moreno, a crooked ex-detective who knew every dirty cop in Verona. Together, they became the Syndicate. Bank heists, arms deals, crypto laundering, art theft. Every move was surgical. Every job was perfect. But power always comes with a price. And that price had a badge. Detective Reese Calder wasn't like the other cops. He didn't take bribes. Didn't care about politics. All he cared about was putting Dominic behind bars. 4 or 5 years, Calder chased shadows. Files. Surveillance. Wiretaps. He knew Dominic's habits. Knew his crew. But he couldn't get them to slip. Until someone did. It started with a tip, anonymous, precise. An email with the subject line, warehouse. Thursday. Midnight. Inside, Calder found a shipment of unregistered arms. The kind of heat that starts wars. And just like that, the dominoes began to fall. Elias got picked up the next week. The feds didn't get anything. He wouldn't talk. But Dominic knew something was wrong. Someone inside was leaking. Trust, once broken, turns deadly fast. Dominic called a meeting. Rain hammered the rooftop where they met, all 5 of them standing like ghosts. He looked each one in the eye. I built this for us, he said. But if one of you is selling me out, his words hung in the air like a knife. No one blinked. But Freya? Freya flinched. Just a little. Barely. That was enough. She was gone the next morning. Disappeared. And not the kind of gone you come back from. But she wasn't the leak. The real traitor? It was Ava. She hadn't just been leaking information. She'd been working a long con with Detective Calder. She gave him enough to make arrests, but not enough to sink the syndicate. She was playing both sides. Dominic found out too late. The raid came fast. 6 squads, SWAT, helicopters, all for one man. Dominic barely made it out, Elias taking a bullet for him. Milo covered their escape with smoke and fire. Verona burned that night. Dominic was wounded, bleeding, hiding in the belly of a city that now had his face on every screen. He called it the last job. One final score. Enough to vanish forever. The Verona Central Reserve. Unbreakable. Untouchable. Until now. Elias patched up. Milo loaded up. And Dominic? He planned the perfect heist. But Calder was already waiting. The plan was flawless. The execution wasn't. Inside the vault, they found Calder waiting. Gun drawn. Alone. I told him not to come, Calder said. This is between us. Dominic smiled, bloody but defiant. Then let's end it. No one knows exactly what happened in that vault. Only 2 walked out. Calder with a limp. And Dominic in cuffs. Dominic Vega now sits in Black Ridge Penitentiary. Life without parole. But he never said a word. Never gave up a name. Never showed regret. Elias died 2 weeks after the heist from complications. Milo vanished into Europe. Ava took a bullet through the heart. courtesy of Dominic's last favor from inside. And Freya? Freya sent Calder an email last week. TikTok. The game's not over. Prison wasn't new to Dominic Vega. But Blackridge wasn't just a prison. It was a cage built for wolves. High walls, cold floors, and eyes everywhere. But even inside, Dominic was no ordinary inmate. Guards whispered his name. Inmates gave him space. The warden? He acted like Dominic was just another number, but behind closed doors, he took calls from people who owed their lives to the ghost. Inside, Dominic built another kind of empire. Not with guns or cash, but with secrets. He listened. He bartered. He made alliances with the powerful and promises to the desperate. Even behind bars, Dominic moved the world. But something kept him awake at night. The email Freya sent Calder. TikTok. The game's not over. Was it a threat? Or a promise? Detective Calder was promoted after the reserve job. They gave him a medal. Plaque. Called him a hero. He hated it. Because he knew the truth. Dominic let him walk out of that vault alive. Calder should have died that day. And now, someone was stirring the ashes of a fire he thought was dead. The Freya email. It wasn't just words. It came with an attachment, a CCTV clip from 2 nights before the reserve heist. A private exchange between Ava and a man Calder didn't recognize. Coordinates. File names. A locker key. Freya hadn't just betrayed Dominic. She'd been sitting on evidence. Real, heavy, dangerous evidence. Enough to turn the world upside down. But where was she? 3 months later, in the heart of Marrakesh, a woman walked through a night market like a ghost, headscarf tight, sunglasses at dusk. Freya Kane. She had escaped Verona with fake passports, crypto wallets, and just enough time. But time runs out. She was tracked. Not by cops. Not by Calder. By Milo Vescri. He had no questions. Only orders. Freya woke up blindfolded in a warehouse outside Valencia, strapped to a chair, face swollen from heat and silence. Then came the voice. You should have stayed dead. It was Dominic, calling in from a burner inside Blackridge, voice piped through an encrypted laptop. Freya smirked. Good to hear your voice, Dom. I'd say the same if I weren't imagining crushing your windpipe. But Freya had leverage. Want the files. I want immunity. I want freedom. You give me that, I give you Calder's next move. The file wasn't just about Dominic. It detailed a government-funded Black Ops network that used the Syndicate as a test bed, laundering experimental weapons, running controlled urban warfare experiments in real time. It meant Calder's raid wasn't just justice, it was cleanup. If this got out, Verona would burn. The world might follow. Calder had no idea. He wasn't part of the conspiracy. But he had been used. And now Freya wanted Dominic to release the file, or she would. Dominic had to make a choice. Inside Blackridge, Dominic brokered a meeting. 3 guards, 1 warden, and a hacked conference call later, he faced the offer. Expose the system or keep it buried. Expose it, and the world would erupt, war, revolution, the fall of governments. Keep it buried, and he'd stay alive, but the truth would rot beneath the concrete. He called Elias's sister that night. Tell me what he'd do. She replied, cold and simple, he'd burn it all down. So Dominic made the call. It started with a leak. Encrypted files dumped on the dark web. Then came names, dates, operations, and then assassinations. Senators, CEOs, and military generals started dying in staged accidents. Someone was cleaning house. Fast. Calder was pulled into an emergency hearing. But he was already on the move, chasing his own leads, trying to find Freya before they did. But Freya? Freya was already dead. Milo left her in a grave somewhere in Bulgaria. No ceremony, just silence. Dominic had ordered it, not for betrayal, but to protect her. She asked for peace. He gave her peace. Blackridge turned from prison to fortress overnight. Dominic was now a political weapon. Some wanted him dead. Some wanted him president. He didn't want either. He wanted out. Calder returned to visit, unarmed, unannounced. You lit a fuse, Dom. You better have a plan before the bomb goes off. Dominic laughed, tired. I didn't light the fuse, Reese. I just pointed at it. The 2 men, once enemies, shared coffee in a prison chapel. There were no deals, no threats, just understanding. 1 year later, Dominic Vega disappeared during a power outage in Blackridge. No records, no witnesses. Gone. Some say he died in a blackout. Others say he was extracted by an international ghost agency. One rumor claims he lives in Argentina, farming grapes. Calder retired. Now lives on a boat. Doesn't answer calls from anyone in a suit. Milo? No one's seen him since Freya's death. But every few months, someone finds a postcard. A red fingerprint. A chess piece. No words. Just the symbol of the Syndicate. If this story gripped you, don't stop here. Dive deeper into the world of betrayal, blood, and brilliance. Subscribe to our YouTube channel True Crime Unknown and uncover the stories like this. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your secrets locked tight.